Okay, let's talk about something I think more of us hairstylists are finally starting to say out loud, that the beauty industry has sold us on one very specific version of success, and it is so deeply flawed. You know the path, the one where you go to beauty school, you start in a commissioned salon, then you rent a booth, then maybe you move into a suite, and finally, if you're really ambitious and super successful, you open your own salon. That's how you make it, right? Except, is it? Because here's the thing, I didn't dream of salon ownership. I actually avoided it for years. But through all the seasons, commission, corporate, booth rental, and now ownership, I've learned that success isn't about status, it's about alignment. And when your version of success doesn't match what the industry says it should look like, it can feel really confusing, even isolating. I know because I've been there. So today, I'm sharing my real, unfiltered story of how I've worked inside nearly every business model in this industry and how none of them are better than the others. Hey friend, I'm Jessica, and this is With My Whole Heart. I'm a real-life woman juggling a lot of real-life things, raising girls, running a hair salon, chasing big dreams, and doing my best to stay grounded through it all. If you've ever found yourself in the thick of it, somewhere between who you've been and who you're becoming, this space is for you. Here, we talk about the middle, the messy, meaningful, beautiful middle. The big leaps, the small wins, the hard lessons, and the heart-led pivots. From business and beauty to faith, motherhood, and everything in between, nothing's off limits. So grab your coffee or your tea, get cozy, and let's dive in. Because this journey, we're walking it together with our whole hearts. What matters is alignment, what season you're in, and what success actually means to you. Because chasing a version of success that isn't actually aligned with your real life, your family, your nervous system, your gifts, is the fastest path to burnout. So let's get into it. I started my career right out of beauty school at a really small boutique salon. It was just me and the owner. She kind of sought me out, and I was flattered and excited, but it ended up being one of the hardest and most confusing starts I could have ever had. At first, it felt great. I was fresh, hopeful, showing up to work in cute outfits and heels. Not a good idea. Don't wear high heels to work when you're standing on your feet all day. I was ready to take on the world behind the chair, but there was no structure, no guidance, and to be honest, the dynamic started to feel emotionally off. She'd hand me flyers and send me out to deliver them door to door for hours. That was her idea of building a clientele. Social media was barely a thing. Facebook had just started. This was old school. I had to learn by doing, and it was isolating. Assistant programs didn't exist then. There were days I had no idea what I was doing. And when I finally started building some momentum, sometimes her clients would come to me while she was off, and she didn't like that. It created tension that I didn't know how to navigate as a brand new stylist. Eventually, I walked away. It wasn't working, and it was weighing on me emotionally and mentally. I honestly didn't know if I was ever going to come back to the industry. I thought maybe this just wasn't for me. After a long break, I took a leap and tried something completely different, a corporate salon. I was technically still commission-based, but this was a very structured environment, which I actually needed at that point. They had systems, they had contests, education trips to New York, which I earned through product sales commissions and competitions, and it felt so good to be a part of something with support and direction. I was hungry, I was motivated. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do this. Then I became a mom. This salon operated in a department store, and the structure was rigid. If you were scheduled from 9 to 5, you were there 9 to 5, even if you didn't have clients. You sat in this tiny locker room and you waited for the landline phone to ring. When it did, someone would answer and tell you, "Jessica, you're up." You never knew who it was, what they needed. It was constant high alert. As a new mom, that was hard. If I wasn't with clients, I wanted to be home with my baby. That push and pull between wanting to be present mom and wanting to grow a career, it was so real. I remember sitting back in that back room thinking, I'm missing moments that actually matter, and I don't even know if anyone's walking in today. There were also weird tensions around taking clients. If it wasn't your turn, technically, you couldn't take the walk-in, even if you wanted to. And if someone was grumpy about having to take that client, it created this weird vibe. I had to have the hard conversation with myself, and I eventually decided I can't do this anymore. That led me to my first season of true independence. I went to a small booth rental salon, just me and the owner, and honestly, it was a cush season. I had a newborn, I wanted flexibility, I didn't want to work full time, and this setup gave me that. I set my schedule. I didn't need daycare. My mom and mother-in-law helped with childcare. It was peaceful, flexible, and easy. It was exactly what I needed. That season reminded me that I didn't have to grind all the time to be successful, that I could build a business that honored my priorities as a mom. But it didn't last long. I got lonely. The owner had other things going on. She ended up wanting to sell the salon and offered it to me. And I said, absolutely not. I had zero desire to own a salon. I had a full body no response. It was a hard pass. I thought, why would I want more responsibility? I just want to work and go home. I moved into another small boutique salon, again, booth rental. This time it was different. The owner was present, supportive. We became really close friends. The women there were confident, grounded, strong. I was more quiet, meek. I was still finding my way. I didn't have a lot of confidence, but that space changed me. I started to believe in myself. My confidence grew. My business grew. My career blossomed. That was the season where I realized I can do this. And once again, the salon was offered to me. And once again, I turned it down because I still wasn't ready. I knew that space worked with her in it. And once she left, it would change. A new owner came in and I stayed. We built a team. We built a vibe. It was wonderful for a while. But then she started to get unsure. Her direction was unclear. And around that same time, my husband was going off to boot camp. We were pivoting. He was switching careers and I needed security. I needed clear rent, a steady plan, stability. That's when I made the leap. Another stylist and I decided to open our own salon, Hustle and Heart. And I want to be honest, we didn't start this because we had some long-term vision or a step-by-step plan. It was out of necessity. We both felt like we were losing stability, and we knew we needed something of our own to feel safe and secure again. I don't think I ever would have done it alone, but with her by my side, I found the courage and we did it. Pause for a second, because not all hair salons are created equal. At Hustle and Heart, we're all about clean beauty, no harsh chemicals, no toxic color, just intentional products, sustainable practices, and hair that actually feels like you. Whether it's extensions, color, or real solutions for hair loss, it's never just an appointment here. It's an experience. Come feel the difference at Hustle and Heart Salon, where your beauty routine gets the upgrade it deserves. Learn more at hustleandheartsalon.com. We started with booth rental, low-key, easy, hands-off. It felt like the perfect bridge from where we were to where we wanted to go. There wasn't pressure to grow fast. We just wanted to create a space that felt good. But as we grew, so did our vision. We started craving a more unified team, something more connected, a bigger purpose. So we transitioned into commission. It was a huge learning curve, and I was still doing hair while learning how to lead. Honestly, I was building the plane while flying it. Then, about a year or so in, my partner came to me and told me ownership just wasn't for her. It wasn't what she wanted long term. I, of course, was heartbroken because in my mind, we were doing this together. But I also completely understood it's not for everyone. So I took over as sole owner, and she stayed on as our only independent stylist, and I stepped fully into a role I never thought I wanted. Here's where I need to speak directly to your heart. The idea that salon ownership is the ultimate goal, that it's where you end up when you've made it, that's the biggest lie the industry keeps telling. And I think more and more salon owners are finally starting to speak up, not because we're trying to gatekeep, but because we want to protect you. We know the cost of ownership. We know the weight, the sacrifice, the responsibility. You can make incredible money in any structure, commission, rental, suites. It's about your intention. It's about alignment. It's about what you're willing to put in and what kind of life you want to lead. And now, as a salon owner, I can tell you with full honesty, I could absolutely make more money if I went back to working full-time behind the chair, doing 4 or 5 days a week, strictly with my extension and hair loss guests, whether independently or in a commission salon. That income potential is very real. But the reality is, I only work 2 days a week behind the chair now, and the other 3 days are fully devoted to running, growing, managing, and leading the salon. On top of that, let's be honest, when you're a salon owner, your mind doesn't shut off. The work follows you home. It's early mornings, late night thoughts, and weekends where you're still thinking about inventory, team dynamics, emergencies, or someone on your team going through something big. You don't just clock out. And unless you've built really strong personal boundaries, and I mean really strong, this job can take over your entire nervous system. I've lived it. I've talked about it in past episodes, how owning a salon became my identity and how it pushed me into burnout. I had to learn the hard way how to come back from that. So let me be crystal clear. Opening a salon doesn't mean you'll automatically make more money. In fact, in the beginning, you'll probably make less because there's overhead, there's reinvesting, there's leadership, and there are always unexpected challenges. For me, the long-term goal is for Hustle and Heart to become a sustainable source of income, for the salon itself to be my financial provider. But right now, the profit margins are good. We're above industry average, and I'm proud of that, but this is a long game. And I'm here because I genuinely love this role. I love leading. I love pouring into a team. I love helping other stylists rise up and grow into their own power. That's where I find purpose. Let that sink in. Maybe you want to open a booth rental salon to have more space, more design, control, more brand identity, but you don't want a team. That's valid, and that might be the perfect for you. But let me tell you from experience, building culture with independent stylists is hard, not impossible, but it's a dance. You can't tell them how to run their business. You can encourage, inspire, but you can't lead them the way you would in a commission culture. If you crave community, culture, and shared values, it's worth looking at team-based models. At the end of the day, every model has trade-offs. Every structure requires something different from you. And it's okay if your needs change over time. What worked for you in your 20s might not serve you in your 30s. What felt exciting before might feel exhausting now. Success isn't linear. It isn't about where you land. It's about how it feels when you get there. So, if no one's told you lately, let me be clear. You are successful when your work supports the life you want, not the other way around. Success isn't a ladder, it's a landscape, and you get to build your version of it with your whole heart. Thanks for being here. I hope this episode gave you some peace, some clarity, and maybe even a little bit of permission to let go of the pressure and trust your own path. Until next time. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Your time is valuable, and I'm honored you spent it here. I hope something in this conversation met you right where you are. If it stirred something in your spirit or spoke to your heart, I'd truly love to hear about it. My DMs are always open. I love connecting with you. And as you go, just remember, you're not walking through this life alone. Until next time, stay grounded, keep showing up, and keep leaning into the purpose that's been placed on your heart. I'll be right here, cheering you on with my whole heart.